What's up, Giants fans, Hub watchers, YouTube subscribers, Twitter and Instagram followers? It's Kush, back at it again with another Giants preview video. As you can tell, different preview video because we're on a short week. I also had a busy week in terms of school and whatnot, so I'm gonna do the camera preview video. So anytime it's gonna be a short week, well, I think this is the only short week we have. It's the only Thursday night football game we have. Or anytime I'm busy, I'm gonna kind of step away from the edited, non-video type one and just come on here, give my raw thoughts. And because of that, this is not so much as a preview video, more so as it is what the Giants have to correct and what the Giants have to do right in order to win this game type of video. That complicated and long title, but I think you guys know what I mean. So the Giants and the Washington football team are facing off this Thursday night on primetime football, week 2 of the NFL. Two teams that had, I'd say, a fair amount of expectations on them. At least for Washington, I think they had more expectations league-wide than the Giants did. But two teams that opened up with a disappointing 0-1 start. Both of their defenses, which had a little bit of hype in the offseason, opened up with a disappointing start against their offenses. Washington's secondary didn't look as good as it should have against the Chargers, and their pass rush left a little bit to be desired as well. Same thing for the Giants. We had basically a non-existent pass rush. Our guys were missing tackles, and our best corner in James Bradbury, who is one of the best in the league, looked like he hadn't played football in 2 years. So I think both of these teams in week 1 were very, very rusty on the defensive side of the ball. And now, I didn't look into the numbers for Washington that much as I did to the Giants, because obviously I'm a Giants fan. You see me with the cap, you see me with the Kenny Golladay jersey. Hopefully he shows out this week. But at least on the Giants side of things, our defense was terrible. They couldn't get off the field on 3rd down. They couldn't get off the field on 4th down. We were 22nd in the league last week when it came to 3rd down conversions, at least conversion percentage, on 46.7% of 3rd down plays. Teddy Bridgewater and the Denver Broncos were able to get a 1st down. I think it was like 7 3rd down conversions they had. And then when you go over to 4th down conversion percentage, we were basically the worst in the league, because Teddy Bridgewater and the Broncos converted on 100% of 1st downs that they attempted to convert. So you can't allow that to happen, and that was like one of the main reasons our defense was on the field that long. In addition to other things, in addition to the fact that our offense just couldn't sustain a drive, and that's honestly on 3 people. That's on Daniel Jones, that's on Jason Garrett, and that's on Joe Judge, and we'll get into more of that in a second. But these two teams right now, when you compare them, just like how I said the Broncos matchup against the Giants, it was a very even matchup in my opinion. I still think that when you compare the teams side by side, they have like half the matchups in their favor and we have half in our favor. They were just way more prepared and they looked a lot better on the field than we did. They looked like they actually came out with a very good game plan. They made adjustments. Like, they went into the half and then they came out the half looking like a way better team. And there was just so many things that went wrong, man. And for all that Joe Judge does, talking about being prepared, fundamentals and stuff like that, I was really disappointed to see our team look like one of the worst in the league when it came to game planning and stuff like that. But that's neither here nor there. When it comes to Washington, I think we're also a very evenly matched team, both on the offensive and defensive sides of football. Quarterback is really the only main question here. I think whoever's quarterback has the better game is going to win this matchup, just like it won the matchup last week. When I told Giants fans that Teddy Bridgewater is the better quarterback than Daniel Jones, the comment section and, talking to Giants fans online weren't exactly kind to me, but Teddy Bridgewater looked amazing out there, and he had help from his offensive coordinator and his receivers as well, yes, but he had better quarterback play than Daniel Jones. This week, we have the Washington backup Taylor Heinicke, who I personally believe should have been starting in the first place for them compared to Fitzpatrick. I think he just fits their offense better, and he could extend a little bit more plays. Fitz actually kind of looked like a statue last week compared to Heinicke. And Heinicke, he has a little bit of experience. You know what I'm saying? He did start that playoff game for them. It's not like he's a guy that doesn't have a little bit of game tape on him. But it's going to come down to whoever has the better game. Because one disappointing thing about Washington week 1 was their offensive line. And now I'm just going to go down the teams. One surprising thing about Giants was our offensive line. Performed much better than expected. In fact, I'm going to throw up some numbers here for you guys. The Giants O-line was ranked 3rd in pass block win rate, which we thought was going to be a struggle. We knew that we were, from last year, a good run blocking offensive line. But we came out here and we were like one of the best pass blocking offensive lines in week 1. We allowed 2 sacks, although one of them was more on Daniel than it was on the line. And that was about it. I actually liked what I saw from my offensive line. I know Andrew Thomas was the highest graded pass blocking offensive lineman in the entire league for week 1. He was also the 2nd highest rated when it came to run blocking in terms of run block rate. Nick Gates was the highest rated in pass block win rate. And it just shows how much progress the offensive line is making. And going back to that 3rd overall in pass blocking, that's a surprise because we did have Shane Lemieux in there for a while, and then he was eventually replaced by Ben Bredesen, which was, in my opinion, part of what caused us to take a hit in the run game and in the run blocking, because Bredesen is not that good of a run blocker compared to Lemieux, and Lemieux is obviously not a good pass blocker at all, so it's a give and take situation. Lemieux has been ruled out for this week, so we know we're going to have Ben Bredesen, and that to me says we know we're going to have a good pass blocking offensive line, which means Daniel should have time on a good amount of his throws. The offensive line is making great progress. Compared to Washington, now it is Joey Bosa, and Joey Bosa is elite, but they were getting absolutely killed by the Chargers defense on the offensive line side of things. And I think that if we on the inside could get pressure through that man Big Cat, through Leonard Williams, and through Dexter Lawrence, who was being held all game last week, by the way, I think we can make Taylor Heinicke suffer a little bit. And if we could get just at least one of our 4 edge rushers that we were rotating, just one of them, to get a little bit of pressure on the outside, we'll be fine. But I don't even think we need the outside pressure. It would be amazing, it would help, of course. But if Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence could push and get through that pocket, I think we're going to be in some real good strengths right here. Our linebacking core, speaking to Blake Martinez, he's not going to miss tackles like he did last week. He just isn't. Bradbury isn't going to be letting up, 6 of 7 passes that goes his way. It's going to come down to the quarterbacks. Our coaches, this is another thing it comes down to. I just said our defensive players need to recover. Patrick Graham needs to learn how to coach a defense when he's fallen behind. And we cannot fall behind against Washington. We cannot allow, for example, Terry McLaurin to go out there and roast and toast one of our corners and then we're down 14-7. That can't happen. Our defense, for some reason, and our defensive coach, it doesn't seem like they have it in them to make a team go into a stalemate once they're ahead of us. So we saw it last year a couple times. 49ers, Ravens, Browns. There was a good couple of games last year that showed this, and then last week was a great example of this. Patrick Graham is not blameless. He needs to come up with a better game plan and better contingency plans to help us when we're in these situations. Of course, I'm not going to let Jason Garrett off the hook, but he called a better game last week than what I saw anytime last year. Let's not forget, in the first half, Daniel Jones looked amazing. I think he was 9 of 11 or 9 of 12 or something with 115 yards. I'm going off my head here, but it's around those numbers, and a touchdown. Sterling Shepard looked like a beast. Garrett, I'm going to ask you to please still involve a bit more vertical calls. He loves, for some reason, to involve a lot of one look, one read plays. If you're going to do that, get number 19, Kenny Golladay, involved in those one read plays. He is a 50-50 man, one of the best in the league. Just throw it to him. Force the ball to him if you must. I need to see Golladay get this ball a lot, because I truly don't believe that there's a corner on Washington's team that could guard him 100% of the time. His size is too much, and the physical way he plays specifically is something that I don't think there's a corner there that could counter. We saw at the end of the game, week 1, when Daniel was just forcing the ball to Golladay, he came down with it almost every single time, except for that one throw in the red zone, which there was double, triple coverage, right? So force it to Golladay if you must. He's your $20 million man. He's your number 1 wide receiver for a reason. That's the type of wide receiver he is. He's not going to be somebody that causes an interception. If anything, it's going to be an incompletion, but he comes down with the ball more often than not. Get him involved, Garrett. That goes to Daniel Jones as well. Even if Garrett doesn't call a play where it's designed specifically for Golladay, if you see he has even the smallest hints of an advantage on a corner, toss it to him. And this goes back to Joe Judge. I really do think Joe Judge is the reason this offense is so conservative so slow-paced. Judge, I'm gonna need you to make adjustments as a head coach, because Jason Garrett's offenses in Dallas wasn't this slow, wasn't this conservative. You know what I'm saying? Des Bryant got involved. Des Bryant at times was forced the ball. So Judge, please make your moves and please adjust with your coaches and the game plans. Getting back to the game specifically, what we need to do, not make the mistakes we made last week, not look rusty. Now, I'm not sure how much confidence I have in a team that had months to prepare for week 1 and they looked that rusty. I don't know what 4 days difference is going to make, but this is a week-to-week league. I've seen in many years before where 1 week a team looks like absolute trash and the next week they look like world beaters. Most recent example, the Super Bowl champs Tampa Bay. 1 week against the Saints, they looked like they were not even going to make the playoffs, and then they went on to win the Super Bowl. You guys know what I'm talking about. So please do not make the mistakes you made last week, Giants. That was a game that got out of hand very quickly because the defense couldn't get off the field on 3rd and 4th down, and they couldn't get off the field on 3rd and 4th down because of poor tackling and blown coverages. It's not something that we were used to last year, so I don't expect it to happen again. Our quarterback, Daniel Jones, you need to outplay Taylor Heinicke, and this shouldn't even be a conversation because you're supposed to be our starting franchise quarterback. If you can't outplay Taylor Heinicke, if you can't get your number 1 receiver involved, Jason Garrett, if you can't call some plays that are a bit more creative, and you can't make up for this offensive line's lack of run blocking, because we are going to miss Shane Lemieux a little bit with the run blocking. So if you can't make up for that by helping Saquon get involved somewhere else or creating a running lane for him, offensive line, now I'm talking to y'all, then we don't deserve to win. If we lose against the Washington football team led by Taylor Heinicke, because this is going to be a quarterback matchup for like the 1,000th time I'm saying this, we don't deserve to win at all, man. This is not a game we're supposed to lose. We're too evenly matched, and both of these teams are going to come out with some fire under them. Both of these teams are coming out off of a disappointing opening week, off of some disappointing losses, off of games where they fell way below expectations. But guess what? Only one of the teams has their starting quarterback, and that's what it's going to come down to. That's what I got for y'all today. Like I said, a very, very different type of preview prediction video. I don't even have a prediction for y'all. I'm gonna try and force one into existence though. Giants win 9-6. I don't know. I know that's not what a lot of people want to hear, but I just want to win. I don't care how we do it. I don't care what the score is. I just want to win. We can't go in for like 10 of the last 11 years and open up the season 0-2 again. It just can't happen. But put your thoughts down below. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe, and I'm out. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I'll catch y'all in the next one.